Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the world of challenger banks, specifically one called Newton. Now, if you're tired of traditional banks nickel and diming you with hidden fees, you might be interested in seeing what Newton has to offer. But before we jump in, let's face it, traditional banks can be a real pain. Monthly maintenance fees, overdraft charges, and worst of all, ATM withdrawal fees. Seriously, who enjoys getting slapped with a $3 charge just to access their own money? That's why challenger banks like Newton are gaining so much traction. They promise a different approach to banking, focusing on transparency and, you guessed it, ditching those pesky fees. But with all this talk of fee-free banking, there's one question that probably popped into your head. Does Newton actually charge for withdrawals? That's what we're here to answer today, so buckle up and let's get down to brass tacks. Newton and the disappearing fees. Alright, let's cut to the chase. Here's the good news, Newton boasts zero fees for ATM withdrawals. That's right, you can access your hard-earned cash without worrying about getting hit with a surprise charge. This applies to both in-network and out-of-network ATMs. Now, before you get too excited and picture yourself living the ATM access dream, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. First, Newton, like many challenger banks, doesn't have its own physical ATM network. So, you'll be relying on ATMs operated by other banks. This might sound inconvenient, but here's the thing, most major banks offer fee-free ATM withdrawals for their own customers. The catch? They usually charge a fee if you use their ATM with a card from another bank. That's where Newton comes in. The Newton advantage, outsmarting ATM fees. Here's where things get interesting. Since Newton doesn't charge withdrawal fees, you can leverage this to your advantage. Think of it like this. Imagine you need to withdraw cash, but there's no Newton ATM in sight. No worries. Just find an ATM from a major bank with a large network, like Chase or Wells Fargo. Since you're using your Newton card, you won't be charged a withdrawal fee by Newton, and there's a good chance you won't be charged by the ATM owner either, as they only penalize withdrawals from other banks' cards. Win-win for your wallet. This strategy allows you to access your cash conveniently without any fees eating into your funds. It's basically like having access to a massive network of fee-free ATMs, all thanks to Newton's policy. It's a pretty sweet deal, wouldn't you say? A word of caution, network limits still apply. Now, before we get carried away celebrating the death of ATM fees, there's one more thing to consider, network limits. Most banks, including Newton, have daily withdrawal limits. These limits are in place to protect your account from unauthorized activity. So, while you won't be charged extra for withdrawals, you'll still be subject to the daily withdrawal limit set by Newton. Finding out your withdrawal limit. The exact withdrawal limit for your Newton account will depend on your account type and verification status. The good news is that finding this information is easy. Simply log into your Newton app and navigate to the account settings section. There, you should be able to find your daily withdrawal limit clearly displayed. Planning for larger withdrawals. If you anticipate needing a larger sum of cash than your daily limit allows, don't fret. You can always contact Newton's customer support to request a temporary increase. Just keep in mind that they might require additional verification or have a process in place for such requests. The final verdict, is Newton the king of fee-free withdrawals? So, is Newton the ultimate solution to avoiding ATM fees? Well, it depends on your banking needs. If you frequently find yourself needing cash and don't mind relying on ATMs from other banks, then Newton's fee-free withdrawal policy can be a game-changer. Plus, with the added benefit of potentially avoiding ATM owner fees as well, it's a pretty compelling offer. However, if you value having access to a dedicated ATM network or require frequent large cash withdrawals, you might want to consider other options.